this alliance actually is a bulwark against Israel and against India. Pakistan will get money to replenish its inventory, defense inventory, build new missile stock, build new aircraft platforms. It's a religious alliance because all three countries are Sunni countries. There are 15 to 20% Shia Muslims in Pakistan, which are around the main metropolitan cities. What kind of message is to those people? The Ottoman Empire occupied the two holiest shrines for more than 400 years. So one does not understand how did Saudi Arabia allow Turkey to come into this alliance. Turkey is looking at a new Middle East corridor. Where are the big markets? Tomorrow India did some kind of alliance like that the entire world would have been up in arms. India does have the ability and the capability to reach not only Turkey but far beyond that.
Hello and a very warm welcome to all. You're watching Point Blank and my name is Aisha Varma. As Saudi Arabia, Turkey and nuclear-armed Pakistan unveiled the Mecca Joint Defence Agreement with a NATO-style pledge that an attack on one is an attack on all, we examine whether it is a defensive regional hedge or the emergence of a consequential, new strategic bloc for Iran, India and the wider Middle East. Joining us to decode these developments is HT's executive editor, Mr. Shishir Gupta. Sir, namaskar. So, the Mecca Defence Pact was signed between Pakistan, Saudi Arabia and Turkey on August 7th. How do you read this defence pact and who does it target?
See, on the face of it, it is a pact which has a political connotation, a defence connotation and a religious connotation. The political connotation is that this is an alliance of three countries which are actually facing the rise of Iran in the Middle East and its ability to stand up to US in the past 6 months. So Iran with its proxies, like Pakistan used to use Lashkar-e-Taiba, Jaish-e-Mohammed, like there was Al-Qaeda. Iran is like a mafiosi which is operating with its various partners, be it Houthi, Hamas, Kataib Hezbollah, and various elements to keep Middle East on the boil. It is a political statement saying that three countries with Saudi Arabia at the center, Turkey on the fringe, Pakistan on the other fringe have joined hands. Second thing, it is a defense alliance where they say you attack one, you attack all. That's simply the way to put it. So this is basically a reflection of the Article 5 of NATO, where it says that attack on one is considered to be attack on all. Right? Incidentally, Turkey is a NATO partner and is bound by Article 5 over there. Third thing, it's a religious alliance because all three countries are Sunni countries. They are and the alliance was hatched in Mecca on a Friday, and it is basically in the place which has the two holiest shrines of Islam. It's an Islamic alliance. In many ways, it's an Islamic NATO, so to speak, because if you look at, it's basically mirrors. And then it talks about that, other countries are also allowed to join in. So there could be a possibility that Egypt may join in, Kuwait may join in, Bahrain may join in, Qatar may join in, Syria may join in. But it is seen as a Sunni bulwark to the rise of the Shia element, which is Iran. Right? This is what it looks like. But what it looks like is another thing. What it will appear on ground is another thing, because it has to be tested as to what it is all about. Now, suppose Afghanistan, which has not the best of ties with Pakistan, attacks Pakistan. Will the alliance attack Afghanistan, which is a Sunni country, which is more Sunni than all these countries are? If the Houthis attack Saudi Arabia, and Houthis are Shia proxies of Iran, if they attack Bab al Mandab, then will Turkey come into the Saudi Arabian backyard and attack Houthis? That's the question. Similarly, if Pakistan, using its proxies, attacks India through a terror attack in Kashmir or in hinterland, and India has made it very clear that it will not allow any terror attack to go unanswered, will Turkey and Saudi Arabia attack India? So this is the big picture of it. On the face of it, it looks like an alliance. On the face of it, it has an objective of mutual defense pact. But how does it reflect on ground is something which is important.
So, is this the Islamic NATO with India as a target, as Turkey has supplied kamikaze drones to Pakistan during Operation Sindoor, and beyond India as well, we also have to take a look at Israel and Iran? Or is it a regional alliance with the backing of US against Iran?
See, this alliance per se has two definitive objectives clearly. This alliance has been made to, on the face of it, to appear as an alliance against the rise of Iran. But this alliance actually is a bulwark against Israel and against India. Why I say that is because Iran per se is somebody who's right now using Pakistan to get its arms supplies from China. Israel is the devil which Turkey has been talking about, though Turkey has been having relationship with Israel, transportation agreements and various things, but it's against Israel. Where this entire alliance will unfold is, it will be an alliance which has India as the target, like it or not like it. Because the main country which is going to benefit out of the entire thing is Pakistan. Given the US presence in the Middle East and the US hold on Saudi Arabia, as well as Turkey and Pakistan, it will be very difficult for the alliance to target Israel. Turkey is a NATO member. Saudi Arabia has US bases over there. Pakistan is sold out to President Donald Trump. So it is not against Israel. This alliance is actually, like it or lump it, is against India. Because all that will happen is that the money, Saudi Arabian money, which Pakistan will get for sending troops or sending fighters or sending ships, will be used to build its own domestic capacities and defense capabilities. If this alliance had to had some US support, it would have gone the UAE way, not the Turkey way. Right? Fact remains is that this alliance is against India. Because all that this will happen in this is that Pakistan will get money to replenish its inventory, defense inventory, build new missile stock, build new aircraft platforms, buy new aircraft platforms, and use it against India. That's what this alliance is. Operation Sindoor, the Bayraktar 1, Bayraktar 2 unmanned combat air systems were supplied by Turkey. The Yihad drones were supplied by Turkey. The Songa drones were supplied by Turkey. There were supplies from China, right? And barring the condemnation of the Pahalgam attack, Saudi Arabia did not utter a word. So it's a matter of very serious concern to India.
So, Turkish leader Erdogan has said that this pact is not against any country. Do we take this statement at face value?
Not at all. We don't take this statement at face value at all.
Why?
Because the simple reason is that, first of all, we don't have the best of relationship with Turkey, because Turkey has been doing its level best, supplying equipment to Pakistan, refurbishing its Pakistani submarines. giving it unmanned combat air systems, helping it out, right? See, every alliance has an objective. This alliance can simply not appear on paper, say simply, the three countries got together and did something about it. This alliance has an objective. The objective which Turkey looks at is, there is a weak Pakistan. There is a Saudi Arabia which has now entered the debt market. This is one opportunity for Turkey to be the leader that it wanted to be all throughout. Okay, it's another matter that the Ottoman Empire occupied the two holiest shrines for more than 400 years. So one does not understand how did Saudi Arabia allow Turkey to come into this alliance, right? The other thing is that UAE, which is a critical player in all this, has been kept out of it, and UAE will remain out of it, right? Now, what is Turkey looking at this? Turkey is looking at a new Middle East corridor, which is basically coming from Saudi Arabia via Syria through Turkey and then to Europe. But the point is, where are the big markets? And what are they supplying beyond oil? And is who really is governing Syria? 1/3 is being occupied by Israel. 1/3 is by Turkey. 1/3 is nobody knows who's occupying that. And today there has been a pact between Russia and Syria. So it's all a complicated game. It's another matter what this alliance will do internally within Pakistan. Because once Hafiz Asim Munir has decided to join a Sunni alliance, there are 15 to 20% Shia Muslims in Pakistan which are around the main metropolitan cities. What kind of message is to those people? Aisha, one should not forget that the majority people, majority religion in Gilgit-Baltistan is Shia. It is not Sunni, northern areas. Pakistan occupied Kashmir. And Pakistan itself is imploding. So it sees an alliance, it's a plus. But what it really means to Pakistan, it could simply lead to an implosion.
So do you think India should be concerned about this development and its consequences? And what should India do to protect itself from such religious alliances?
See, India is seized of the matter.
Okay.
And this matter has been discussed at the apex level. We have conveyed our very serious concerns to Saudi Arabia via the National Security Advisor Ajit Doval, who was recently there and has been there before. The Saudis have told us that this alliance is not against India. We don't believe that, simply because Pakistan and Turkey are involved. It is not because of Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia, we have very good ties. The problem is with these two elements, because Pakistan, the reason of existence is India. Turkey has always had this, this unhappy feeling of a rising power in Asia. We will do what we need to do in this. We have to build up more capabilities. We have to build up more capacities. And let me tell you, we do have a lot of capacities. But this has to be further improved, because in this whole play, the Chinese will come in. In this whole play, other countries will also sort of, try and see whether they can sell their own equipment in that. And India knows that this is an alliance which is detrimental to its cause, because it's a religious alliance. Like if tomorrow India did some kind of alliance like that, then the entire world would have been up in arms. So India will build all its capacities to do that. And let me tell you, India does have the ability and the capability to reach not only Turkey, but far beyond that.
So, if we talk about the three members of this new defense deal, Pakistan is a full nuclear power. Saudi Arabia is in talks with the US for a civil nuclear deal, and Turkey is a part of NATO. Is this new bloc creating the situation for similar defense alliances between other nations?
The critical problem in all this is Pakistan. Because Pakistan, over the years, has been proliferating nuclear technology to other countries. You haven't forgotten about Abdul Qadir Khan, how he actually, stole centrifuges from Netherlands for the Pakistan nuclear program. Pakistan is the nuclear element. Saudi Arabia has been offered a nuclear deal by US with the critical condition that it has to tie up with the Abraham Accord. Now, as far as Turkey is concerned, Turkey is part of NATO and is governed by Article 5 of NATO. It cannot have two alliances together where it has a Sunni alliance also, because it's not an extension of NATO. So Turkey will have to live up with this contradiction as to which side it is on. Saudi Arabia will definitely not get a civilian nuclear deal now, considering that it has decided to go with Turkey rather than going with UAE and Israel. Right? Pakistan will do all it wants to do, given its nuclear capabilities, its limited nuclear capabilities that it has, which it obviously gets a lot of help from China. So this is the dangerous element in this entire alliance. And that is why the world should look at this entire thing, because Pakistan has a history of proliferation. Pakistan has a history of proliferation. China has a history of missile proliferation. And these things could lead to a lot of serious situations in Middle East, at least, because Iran is obviously looking at a nuclear power dimension. You have Israel over there. And if Pakistan gets into this, already boiling mess, then the things become very dangerous. So the world will have to look at it. US will have to look at it. All this is becoming more complicated because the Iran-US war is not ending. So any conflagration can yield to a very dangerous situation. That's where it is.
So Turkey is a part of NATO, which has a mutual defense clause. Now Turkey has a mutual defense agreement with Pakistan. If it is attacked, Turkey is required to help Pakistan. Will NATO also step in?
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. The two are linked together at all. And I don't think so. NATO has even discussed this issue. And they should be discussing this entire issue. But, this is basically creating a much more complication than that. Right now, what you see is a pact. But we don't have any evidence of this pact on ground. The first thing that will come to this pact, evidence of this pact, will be when the Houthis start to attack Saudi Arabia. Let's see Turkey rush to its help. Last time when the Houthis attacked Saudi Arabia, Pakistan did not do anything. Despite Pakistan and Saudi Arabia having a pact, all it did was send a squadron of fighters after the attack was over. Nothing else happened in that. Right? So, one is that. Second thing, if tomorrow a Saudi Arabian tanker is attacked by Iran, will Pakistan attack Iran? I don't think so. Because Iran has the capability and the capacity to attack Pakistan back. Similarly, if something happens to Turkey, will these two countries, Saudi Arabia has a very limited military in that way. Pakistan has substantial military. But will that come to help? So it's all up in the air right now. But what is clear is that, this is an alliance which anybody may say is actually an alliance, to sort of, a Sunni bulwark against a Shia Iran. I don't think so. This is much bigger than that.
Do you think that this could trigger comparable counter-alliances across Asia and the Middle East?
This remains to be seen. I mean, as to say that comparable alliances in what way? Because already there are alliances. And, India doesn't have any alliances, so to speak. But India definitely has a pact with UAE, a defense pact with UAE, which is not spoken about. But my understanding, it's a very deep defense cooperation pact. And UAE is a power to reckon with in the Middle East. And India has good ties with Iran also. So it works both ways. So if these people, they decide to have some sort of a objective against maybe Iran or India, the other side is also prepared for what's going to come in future.
All right. So thank you so much for joining us and bringing us all of those details. With that, it's a wrap, but do stay tuned.